As I'm using more and more agents in VS Code, I find myself looking for a streamlined experience where I can focus on agents and their outputs. I'm going to move over to the VS Code Agents app, which is a companion application shipped alongside VS Code Insiders. I can launch the app in several ways, from my machine's applications, the command line, and from VS Code itself. When I enter the Agents app, I'm brought into an agent-first environment where I can run and review agents across multiple projects, harnesses, and machines. It's different from VS Code in that it's focused on agentic development, but as a VS Code user, it should feel familiar. I can review my existing sessions on the left, grouped by workspace, and I can also kick off new sessions. Getting started today, I'd like to go ahead and work on my website that's about dev containers. I'd like to know where I'm starting with my site before making changes, so I'll quickly take a look in an integrated browser. This is a really convenient way to preview my site without having to leave the Agents app. Now that I've reviewed my site, I'd like to ground myself in some outstanding work. I'll ask an agent to tell me more about the most recent issue in my repo. My session defaults to using the Copilot CLI, and the CLI will create and use a work tree to help with isolation. I could also choose another harness, like the Claude agent. We've accelerated some playback in today's video, so you may see faster spinners than usual. As the session starts, the Copilot CLI creates and uses that isolated work tree. And then the GitHub MCP server kicks in. Customizations, like the GitHub MCP, help tailor how agents work. Since they're key to making agent-first workflows successful, we've made them directly visible and editable right where you're working. The GitHub MCP server tells me that my most recent issue is about adding a top-level contributing guide to help new contributors. This change sounds helpful and makes sense to me, so I'll ask the agent to implement it. The Agents app is a truly multi-agent experience. So while this first agent continues working, I can kick off and check on others in the same or different projects. I remember another change I wanted to make to my site was explore how it would look in a different color, like maybe green instead of blue. I'll kick that off to a new agent in a separate session. It creates its own work tree, so its changes are going to be isolated from the first session that I kicked off. While I have multiple agents working, I can keep track of them in the session list on the left. I can get insight into their status, such as if they're complete or still working, and I can filter them however works best for me, such as only completed or only in progress sessions. With the work I've been doing on my dev container website, I'm inspired to ensure another completely separate web app of mine has a great dev container too. When I create a new session, I see the files list for this new web app I've selected has loaded in the sidebar on the right. This is really convenient as a quick look into what my repo contains. And since the Agents app is customizable, I can resize or minimize it. Let's kick off another agent to add a dev container to this site. While this session works, I notice my first agent, which was adding a contributing guide, finished its work. Let's take a look. I'd like to preview a change that the agent made. In the top right of the app, there's a Run button where I can choose to add a task. The app detects and allows me to choose from an existing task in my repo. I'll select a run action based on a task I already have to serve my website. While the session is getting up and running, I notice that another session is asking for permission to complete a task. I can allow that directly from the session list without having to reopen that full session. The run task opened a terminal that's scoped to my current session's work tree, so when my site is up and running, it'll have all of the latest changes specifically from this session. The integrated browser opens up, and the change looks great. I see the contributing guide was added, and it has the content I'd expect. I can also explore the actual code changes from this session. I can configure if I'd prefer my changes to open in a modal, or dock them as another editor right next to my sidebar. I see that the new contributing guide was added at the end of my site's navbar, but I'd like to move it earlier. I can select a line number in the diff and provide that as feedback to the agent. When I submit the feedback, the agent uses the Act on Feedback skill, which is built in. As this agent iterates, I can check in on others. My theming agent completed its work and generated some code changes. If I'd like to review, merge, or share them with my team for review, like in a pull request, the Agents app will guide me through all the potential options. As I'm working with multiple agents, I can interact with them across different interfaces. I can use the Open in VS Code button at the top right of the Agents app, and my current session's work tree will open directly in VS Code. As I'm kicking off and reviewing multiple agents, I may also find it helpful to work across other devices. In the Agents app, I can use SSH or dev tunnels to run sessions on other machines. Maybe if it's something really perf-intensive and I need other compute, or I want to access code that's only stored on another device. I can also visit insiders.vscode.dev/agents in the web, where I'll use dev tunnels to connect to other machines and kick off agent sessions on them. I have a dev tunnel running on my current local machine, which means now on the web, I can connect to and kick off agent sessions on the same projects that I was working on locally, like the dev container website repo. We hope you love using VS Code agents for your agent-first workflows. We're excited to hear how you use it and to get your feedback. Happy agentic coding!